Hey, spoiler alert. So what did we see today, guys?
21 Bridges.
Gotta say, as far as establishing shots go, there were maybe like 5 or 6 bridges in the movie.
Yeah, there are not 21 bridges in the movie. I was pretty disappointed. False advertising, 0. Next movie.
0 out of 10. Next.
This has been quality content.
Alright, but let's talk about the movie.
Yeah.
General thoughts going in.
I thought it was going to be pretty good.
I thought it was
honestly.
also going to be
Produced
pretty good.
by
I like the trailer.
Produced by the Russo brothers, has a really good trailer. Chadwick Boseman, J.K. Simmons, Keith David, like, that's a good cast.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought, but not until the very end, when it ended and said directed by some guy, did I not realize that this was not directed by the Russo brothers.
When
I mean, you could have figured it out by watching the movie.
I want to ask you a simple question, Jake.
Yes.
With them filming Infinity War and Endgame back to back over the last 3 years, when would they have had the time?
I mean, Chadwick Boseman's in it. He's also in both of those movies.
You make a good point, but
One of those movies.
He's in 1.5 of those movies.
Yeah.
The way I see it is the same way Steven Spielberg made The Post and Ready Player One around the same time frame. They released around the same time frame because one has a lot of visual effects and was kind of double teamed with another movie.
Yep.
And this one is more of like a cop thriller. In any case,
They produced. Which is
all of my lavish, wonderful observations are undercut by the fact that I didn't fucking realize something I can just Google.
Can I talk about the twist of 21 Bridges real quick?
the twist, quote, quote.
I recognized it at the beginning of the movie. I'm pretty upset.
You recognized it in the trailers.
Yeah.
What was the
I
twist?
did. When we were watching a trailer, I think I was like, J.K. Simmons is the bad cop. And Mug goes, shut up. No, he won't be. He was obviously, from the get-go. Like, it was so obvious.
This movie's got really weird pacing.
It's so fast. I felt like everything leading up to the last 15 minutes was like Act 1 of a movie. And then the last 15 minutes is Act 2 and 3 all crammed together.
I had this thought about halfway through the movie. It feels like the season finale of NCIS.
I can agree with that to an
It
extent.
really does.
It does.
Series finale or season finale?
Season, because they always go big or go home in the
Yeah,
season
because he's
finale.
still going to be a cop. Nothing's
So,
changed.
Before we get to the out of 10 scores, obviously,
We have to talk about
it
positives and negatives.
But a lot of this movie really did work for me.
Yeah, no, a
lot didn't. I'm not saying this is a great movie.
No,
It's not.
absolutely not.
So this movie, I feel like I didn't really have a problem with like the storytelling. I thought the directing was on par. It's very similar to a movie called Black and Blue that came out this year that I saw as well. 21 Bridges and Black and Blue both deal with police corruption.
Mm-hmm.
But in a different way. I know from the trailer of
Yeah,
Black and Blue, it's
point
definitely
of Black
a different
and Blue
way.
is police corruption. The police corruption in 21 Bridges is more of a sub-story.
Yeah,
to
it
the
ends up
story.
being the underneath of the story.
Yeah, it's a
really.
storytelling element,
Yep.
whereas Black and Blue focuses on it. I can really only talk about this movie while talking about Black and Blue.
That's fine. You have the floor.
Well, it's only because
Actually,
they're so shockingly similar, and I don't love Black and Blue, but Black and Blue did this a little bit better for one really important reason. Racism and judging people based on their race on first glance and people having biases like that.
Yes, that's what racism means.
Yes, exactly, but more so like with like psycho stuff, like analytical crap.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But on that level, that is an integral part of police versus people who aren't police
Yep.
in like cities like Manhattan or like Detroit and stuff like that. I think that's where Black.
Well, like almost everywhere.
Yeah, well, America, yes.
Yeah.
So Black and Blue tackles those issues at the primary, like that's the story.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that this rookie cop, who is black, and that's relevant, obviously, is the target because she witnessed one of her other cops do a corrupt thing, and then she goes to report it, and it turns out that every single cop is also corrupt and trying to chase her and kill her down and frame it. So that's like the whole conceit of Black and Blue, and it's actually really well done. And there's like this whole element of like every person that she's trusted, or rather, every person that she's met that's like not a cop wants to help her but knows they can't because they have no power because the cops are in power.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, 21 Bridges, to circle back around to the main topic at hand.
Oh yeah, that's the movie we're
That
talking
is the movie we're talking about, isn't it?
I forgot.
I don't think, aside from the funny trigger line, there is no mention at all of race in regards to police and cop killing and stuff like that.
I would say there's a little bit of subtle ones. Like, you're the only cop to talk first and shoot second. that's like a subtle little jab. There are little like influences,
I
but
disagree
nothing.
that in this movie is about race. That's more about corruption. That's about this movie. That's kind of my whole point, where like race doesn't play a factor. I think the director and writers and stuff so much so tried to remove, like take out race from the idea of a corrupt police syndicate. So much so that they made the lead cop black and the lead protagonist who's not a cop black as well, so that there's no like you can't point any allegories like, oh, this guy's actually this is a metaphor for that. Like there's nothing you can draw on there.
That's fair.
And no one at any point talks about that, and that felt very strange to me because that's not what culture really is in this context.
There are certain places where the cops are under with the drug drug influence and everything.
Yeah, but
But that's not the main problem in society. You're right.
I think I agree with Jake in the sense of this movie's kind of a missed opportunity to discuss things like that.
Yeah.
You know?
It feels
and
it.
I guess, maybe they didn't want to talk about that, but when it just is wholesale removed from a narrative like this that seems to lend itself to it, it makes the movie feel
Weaker.
weaker and empty.
Let me put it to you this way. If you're making a romantic comedy, you don't have to talk about noses on a human being. However, since human beings have noses, if you make a romantic comedy without noses on the characters, there's a glaring problem.
You
It's
just
a Voldemort
CGI
the
that
movie.
out, like
Exactly.
Henry Cavill.
That's kind of how I feel about this. It doesn't have to be about racism, but there's none in the whole
There's not
movie.
a single mention.
There's the main cop is black, the main character who's not a cop is black, and it's like, and there's like the one trigger joke, and that's like a funny joke.
That's a really good line.
It's pretty
That's
good.
the best line in the movie.
It's the best line in the movie.
I don't know. Chadwick Boseman going, what the fuck? It was pretty good.
Chadwick Boseman has 3 great lines in this movie, which is, you must have perfect diction if you're calling me a trigger. What are you, fucking stupid?
Yeah, that's the line.
What the fuck, man?
Dude, anything Chadwick Boseman exclaims, which, by the way, if we can get on something completely separate from the political issues, Chadwick Boseman's accent almost felt authentic, and then he kept slipping back and forth to Black Panther.
I said that to Ian. It sounds like
It
he's trying
sounds
to
like he did.
fight off
Yep.
a Wakandan accent, which is funny because he's American.
He is American.
This should be
Yep.
the easiest thing he's ever
There
done.
was a point where he whispered, like he does some of his lines in Black Panther and Infinity War and Endgame. He does like this nice like whisper, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he whispered to one of the cops, and it slipped into it. And I was like, oh, that's not the right movie.
Yeah, no.
You're from Brooklyn, not Wakanda.
It's not that he sounds like he's from Wakanda. It's just it sounds like somebody is fighting off their accent while speaking.
It's
And
so
I've
funny.
And like, and sometimes he'd over enunciate.
Yeah, and if you look at like I've seen the movie Get On Up, where he's James Brown, fantastic. The movie's okay, but him in the movie is like a knockout A-list. I think the Marvel people saw that and went, "Wow, this guy's fucking talented. Get him for Black Panther." But
Like a Black Panther.
I guess post Black Panther, since it's like his biggest thing ever, and now he's played the role so many times, I guess automatically in his head he kind of slips back to that. I don't entirely blame him.
he's probably been acting in that accent for like a year and a half.
Straight,
Longer. Civil War.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like two good years of
3,
2
4
maybe
years?
3
3 years. Yeah,
3 years
basically.
of just nonstop Wakandan accent. Yeah, that takes
Well,
a toll
Black
on you.
Panther Infinity War Endgame, that's like a year and a half of shooting.
Yeah,
like,
but
straight.
also, like, think about it this way. Charlie Cox, who played Daredevil in the TV show, said he's lost out on a couple roles in a couple movies, including Han Solo for Solo: A Star Wars Story, because of playing a blind character. He now has trouble looking people in the eyes when he's acting, because he just stares off into space, because he's used to playing a blind character.
If the cost of that is 3 of the best show, or one of the best shows ever made seasons, that's, I mean, to me,
I agree. I'm just saying.
I don't
like,
want a shitty solo movie
not-
with him in it.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that if you condition your actors to do something for so long, eventually it becomes hard for them not to do it.
You know what's important right now? The music in 21 Bridges was fucking awful.
I don't remember it.
I don't remember.
It was so loud and stuck, and it was like,
I think
just no music.
I think what really contextualizes this movie is like the climax of the movie is happening, and Ian leaned over to me and he just goes, "This can't be the end of the movie. Nothing's happened."
I felt like, well, things happened, but nothing like important. Like,
Nothing important
It was just
happened.
him chasing the guy,
There's
and then
one
he goes, "The drives," and I'm like, that seems like it's the main part of the movie.
Yeah.
But where's the resolution?
Yeah,
the movie
no.
has 5 minutes or some shit. Like,
There's
where's the resolution?
There's a showdown in a meat packaging plant between the two main characters, the antagonist and the protagonist. And Chadwick Boseman has like a heart-to-heart with the guy, and he's just like rambling and spitting out all this nonsense, like trying to get out as much exposition in like 5 minutes before his character runs away. And like I'm like, is the movie like changing plots halfway through? Because like it was a cat and mouse game,
But
which
now,
wasn't really good because it was just character goes to A, other character follows, character goes to B, other character follows.
And I can't really fault that on the movie. That's how legal things like that are.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's just there's no, I don't know what to say to it.
It doesn't have an identity, I feel.
Yeah, there's nothing here. I just felt like every scene was just like, okay, this is what we're doing, and then they move on. There's no subplot to the story, even if they try to inject this whole like corrupt cop thing.
Yeah.
It's just every scene is self-serving towards the finale.
And it's not like, all right, so you know how good twists, we'll talk about good twists in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you know how a good twist is like, oh shit, this twist was like,
In front of my face.
It wasn't a twist, it was like a slight veer to the left.
But
It's like,
then-
here's your slight veer. There you go, audience, mystery box.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
make it very clear from the like, outgo that the cops are corrupt, which is fine, but nobody really talks about it. And like you see Chadwick Boseman like gathering evidence about this, and it's just like, so are we gonna talk about this or not?
There's also that part where I think it's David Oyelowo, he comes in with his buddy to interrogate the guy, and the guy turns around in the bar, and then he shoots him in the head before the guy moved at all.
Yeah.
And Chadwick sees that, and then sees that he framed him with the gun. He's like, oh, the fat cop, the gun in your ankle, whatever. That's huge.
Yeah,
That was a
that's
shocking-
That
illegal.
goes nowhere.
It was an offhanded
That's planting
comment.
evidence. That's illegal.
Yeah, and then it's just an offhanded comment, and then Chadwick walks away, and he makes a comment like, oh, I'm trying to piece everything together. I hope everything works out, and then he leaves. Like,
Yeah, no,
what?
that scene made no sense.
No,
especially
you fucking-
because
you pursue
it wasn't
your
even-
friend.
It wasn't even like a back alley thing. It was a public execution.
Public
Yep.
There were
execution.
several witnesses.
And he
There's
definitely
a whole
called him
club.
out. He called him out on like this shocking revelation. Like if a cop plants evidence at a scene, that's like
That's
immediate,
highly illegal.
highly
Yes.
illegal. He could have had him like immediately right there and then in cuffs.
But that did bring out one of Chadwick Boseman's best lines, which is just, "What are you, fucking stupid?"
What are you, fucking stupid?
Good line.
Yeah.
That was
Very good
those
line.
hot takes were when Chadwick Boseman like had no accent. And I'm convinced that was just Chadwick not having read the script, actually breaking character.
It's not acting if he actually thinks the guy's being fucking stupid.
What the...
That's just life.
Yeah, it is just life.
No, there's just not a lot
There's just
to...
nothing-
I feel like there's nothing to talk about. Like,
Yeah,
the plot,
this movie's
the
just
plot
so
of the movie is
bland.
chasing Taylor Kitsch and his friend around, and then some thumb drives, and then the movie's over.
And then Taylor Kitsch just dies.
Oh no, Taylor Kitsch died.
And then there's this like other thing where like the kid looks at what's on the thumb drives and then he gets caught immediately and dies. And it's over. And
Cool.
it's just
Yeah. There's not a lot of substance for an hour and a half.
it's like fast food. It's just empty calories.
Exactly.
It's like beer. It's just empty calories.
Exactly.
Because fast food at least has some protein or some
Like,
shit.
Dead ass. The movie was the meat packaging scene when he spills his guts to Chadwick Boseman. I genuinely was like, is this the end of the movie? Because
There's like a half hour left, Mud.
there was like a half an hour left.
I
But
checked
that's
my
how
clock,
like
and I was like,
that's
Mud,
how
no.
that's how small of a plot it was. Where like it was at the point where that scene in my mind, I was like, this could absolutely be the end of the movie.
It would have been a long episode of television if it did.
It's just a season finale of like a cop drama.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It was really well shot.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
there's good shots.
Some good stuff in here.
Not good music. Oh, I want to talk about the scene where J.K. Simmons is talking. So, there's a scene towards the beginning of the movie where J.K. Simmons and Chadwick Boseman are talking. And the dialogue is nowhere near how it's mouth this movie.
ADR.
It is so
That
bad.
happens later on when Chadwick Boseman's interrogating that woman in the sriracha hot sauce tank top. Her mouth is not moving, and she's talking. And then there's another shot of Taylor Kitsch in the army with his face awkwardly comped in on an actual army man's body.
Oof.
Yeah, this movie's
This movie's pretty...
it's very technically impressive, but not technically impressive at all at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a mixed bag.
I think also the scene where the cops are just blasting their way through the door for no fucking reason. Like, they don't stop firing at any point. You know what I'm talking about, the reinforced door?
Oh, yeah.
They just keep firing, and I'm like, fucking why? Like,
Well, because all the cops are corrupt and evil.
yeah, but what are they shooting at?
Evil people.
Yeah, apparently.
Guns.
I don't know.
5.
4. I
Alright.
can't give it the 5. I would give 5 to a movie that's competent.
Alright.
This movie feels like it's halfway to competence.
That's what 5 means.
No.
Halfway is...
5 is actually competent.
Alright.
I gotta go with 5 too. It's just there's nothing to this movie.
I feel like I didn't really gain anything from watching it, except the stupid revelation about the race thing. But in any case...
It made Black and Blue retroactively better.
I agree completely. I wasn't a huge fan of that movie, but at least that movie represented fucking that aspect of American culture correctly. I don't know what else to tell you.
The best part of this movie is the trailer.
For those listening, little bonus segment, Total Recall has been edited for like a week. It's fighting copyright. It'll be up sometime around Christmas. Good luck.